Hello and welcome to Make Your Life Your Legacy podcast. My name is Sara and it's been way too long since we last spent some time together. I've been through some incredible life shifts, including relocating my family to a whole different continent. And then I just used this time to recalibrate, to navigate our new lifestyle. And also, life happened, the world is changing. And it wasn't until recently that I felt deeply inspired and called to just sit down and record perhaps one off or perhaps the beginning of the next series. I don't know yet. However, the transmission that came through is something that I feel really needed to be shared. So, for the next 39 minutes or so, I invite you to get comfortable, grab a warm beverage if this is up to your liking, or maybe put your headphones in and go for a walk. This is how I usually meditate in the morning. I call it moving meditation. And I hope the content that's awaiting is exactly what you're looking for. It gives you the answers, it gives you the clarity, it gives you the inspiration or motivation that you might be needing. Hello, it's Sara here. Today I want to offer you my thoughts and insights and some of the resolutions, if you will, from something I have been deeply contemplating on for quite some time now. I hope that what I offer feels empowering, inspiring, it fills up your cup, it gives you strength. Perhaps it allows you to shift your perspective, elevate your perception. Maybe it gives you some clarity on what you can do, how you can show up, or what are some of the things that you can release or even simply reframe. Whatever it is that you need to do what you're called to do and to take aligned action that will be nourishing and empowering and not um, continuously holding you down and feeling overwhelmingly paralyzing, so to speak. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Many of us around the world are scared, deeply scared, anxious at what's going on, anxious at what every next day will bring. It is chaotic. It is chaotic by design, it is chaotic by the order of which, those things take turn and the domino effect that we have all learned. Well, I guess we haven't because we keep repeating the cycle of the history, but here we are. So many of us, as we are experiencing this, also feel isolated and alone, unable to really not only articulate what we are experiencing, but even finding responses that would be assuring. Many of us are finding ourselves hearing, oh, you're overreacting, oh, you're dramatizing things, oh, it's not that bad, oh, it's okay, oh, that needed to happen, and so on and so forth. I'm not here right now to judge which one is a yes or a no, but I am here to validate it. If you feel gaslit, if you feel insecure, if you feel isolated, those are real feelings and experiences. And many of us who are experiencing this, let's be clear, we are not from yesterday. We are old souls who have been through multiple lifetimes, who have experienced things, and we carry them in ancestral memory. So we have been here before. And many of us are also individuals who in this lifetime have accomplished remarkable things. So that in itself creates this, I want to say, a level of responsibility, pressure, awareness. I want to say a degree of commitment that we feel towards our communities, whether it's immediate families or inner circles or communities at large. It's not something that we take for granted. We feel this sense of responsibility that we are here for a deeper purpose, that we are here to do something. And when we are feeling this fear and anxiety, yes, it can be paralyzing and it can feel like, oh my gosh, who am I to even attempt? Who am I to even make a dent? But what am I thinking, right? And that itself is very disempowering. And then here's where things get really, really tricky. We are all humans. We all have 3D realities that we're also navigating. Some of us also carry incredible amount of financial burden or responsibilities or commitments or whatever you want to call it. Again, for our families, for our inner circles, towards our families, towards our inner circles, our communities, whatever you want to call it. You know, many of us are in this life when from the outside looking in, it feels like, oh my gosh, you have everything. And when you're inside looking out, it's like, oh, if only you knew. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what that feels like. And just so you know, you are not alone here either. I hope you do not feel isolated because the truth is, not many people understand that duality. Not many people have the compassion when you cross certain threshold of success as it's measured by some vain external metrics. Um, I want to say the more successful you are, the less you are perceived as human, the less compassion there goes towards you and your real 3D human problems. So that in itself is a whole other um, layer that you need to navigate, and it feels sometimes, yes, like you're all alone and no one will understand you. Well, you are not alone. Um, in my situation, my personal um, experience, I know very intimately how that feels like too, because on one hand, creating the life and the lifestyle that has been on my vision board and deeply ingrained in my knowing has been like a catalyst. It has been so nourishing. It has been so uplifting and so inspiring and motivating. And on the other hand, it feels also that it comes with incredible amount of responsibility and pressure. And there are days when I wake up already tired from thinking and contemplating and strategizing and oftentimes even worrying, you know, a 180 or 360, whatever you want to call it, a whole human experience. So, the reason why I felt inspired to share these thoughts is because many of us, as we are navigating this duality, feel like something is wrong, that we should not feel so conflicted, or even that, when the whole world is burning and here we are worrying about how we are going to make it through, what our family needs, it might feel superficial, it might feel shallow, it might feel selfish, it might feel like that there's just, I shouldn't be thinking this way. I shouldn't be focusing on this. I should be, and there's a whole lot of shoulds here that ultimately, yes, they are yours, they're very real. The weight of them is extremely heavy, and they have every right to exist. Absolutely. And I would like to offer the following if this resonates with you. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you and I want to say thank you for allowing yourself to even feel that. Because it would be a lot easier to just numb it all out and pretend it's not there, to bypass it, to sweep it underneath the rug and just play along, smile and wave game we have been trained to do so well. Instead, you are here feeling deeply, and that in itself is incredible because for those of us who are sensitive and visionaries and deeply attuned, yeah, we are almost always dismissed, at least at first. But keeping in touch with these knowing and recognizing it within yourself and claiming it, that takes a lot of strength. And then that conflict that we're feeling in our soul, this push and pull between our soul's mission and our family's needs, our own commitments, responsibilities, um, it's not selfish. I would even offer that it's profoundly human. Just like anything in life, it takes reconciliation, and it is hard to create something big for on a large scale when within our core we feel shaky, unstable, unsafe, unsupported. So, what if we can reframe that? What if instead of seeing this as what would the word be here? As an obstacle, what if we see it as a portal to come and walk through? What if we see it as an initiation? What if we see it as um, a possible anchor, that keeps us grounded, that creates this space to really be with ourselves, to feel it all, and to really get clear pragmatically and energetically on what all these layers are. What is it we are feeling? What is it we are experiencing? What is our current reality at home, in our personal lives, in our inner circles, in our communities, and the world at large? For those of us who are visual, we can take a pen and paper and map it out. Absolutely color coded. Use glittery markers, whatever you need to. Make it a piece of art. Express it however you need to express that. And through that, clarity will emerge. And what is that you need will also emerge. And with that, you will start noticing what is that you feel deeply that you need, and what is the first aid kit that you're reaching for on a daily basis just to save the day. And let me give you an example. Oftentimes, whether it's with my clients and even with myself, when I do those sessions with my own mentors, what I find is that when I have some big goal to accomplish, it's so interesting to see, okay, there's a few very simple steps that I can take. There's a couple of really aligned actions, and let's say in my case or in case of my clients, offers that we can put out in the world, the space that we can hold, the spaces we can create for our own people that feel expansive, that feel aligned, that feel elevated, that feel inspiring, that feel safe and grounded and mighty, right? And then when we take a real honest audit of what we are actually doing, it's very clear that through the action that we're taking, we are moving ourselves in the opposite way from that goal because we're taking small steps, things that have been done in the past that might have worked. We're doing things that we are emotionally and mentally attached to because we have already put so much work in it, so it's got to work this time. We are afraid to let things go, and we are creating what logically seems like a simple step, like a no brainer, a small commitment container for our community, and yet no one's buying because it's so out of our own alignment. And to get even more explicit here on an even more granular level, let's say that you are a service provider who offers services that range from, I want to say, let's use 300 euros to 3,000 euros, 30,000 euros, all the way to 300,000 euros. Um, and you feel it in your soul. Your soul is calling to put offers out for around 30,000, let's say. That feels like a sweet spot right now. You have the space, you have the capacity, the energy of that offer is in alignment. The essence of that offer, is exactly what your audience is looking for right now. When you think about it, you get butterflies of all the possibilities that you can help your clients create within that container. And yet, your mind, your ego will go, oh, well, in this economy, but let's just do something smaller. Let's make it an easy yes. Let's do something that's 330 to 3,000 and let's see how that goes. And there you are, putting things out there that are so easy to you that you can do them with your eyes closed and left-handed in the middle of the night because you have done them so many times before, and yet no one's buying. The needle is not moving. It's taking all this effort, and even if somebody was buying, subconsciously what you're doing is pleading with people, please don't. No, 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 because that's not going to make any dent. It's not going to make a dent in my bank account moving forward, my financial commitments needle, and this container is not going to make a dent. It's not going to help move the needle to whoever steps in, and you know it on a subconscious level. So here you are, here we are, here they are, however, wondering why the fuck things are not working, why there's just crickets. And then you look left and you look right and you look people in your own circles and communities and masterminds who are celebrating $1 million months, and they're celebrating another $1 million launch or whatever number, and you're super happy for them and super envious, and you're like, but how, right? Or you are sitting at home and you're doing everything in your power, you name it. You do personal development, you do mindfulness, you do meditation, you do physical movement, you do creative expression, you do financial planning, you do business strategizing, you name it, you do it, on top of running a household, keeping your kids engaged and safe and happy, um, and motivated and inspired and on schedule, along with supporting your spouse and really maintaining this loving, safe space for everybody. It is a lot. It certainly is a lot. But then at the end of the day, you collapse in bed and you can barely make it through each and every day, only to get up again full of hope and excitement for a brand new day that brings brand new opportunities to do it all over again, only to collapse the next day and the next day and the next day, and weeks go by and months go by and years go by, and this nudge within you is getting growing bigger and louder, saying, "This is not your space anymore. Get out. You have outgrown this environment." And you know exactly what new location is calling you. And there you are, waking up again the next morning. It's like, well, when I check off all these boxes, when I accomplished all these things, when I can prove to myself that I'm worthy of packing up and moving, then I will. Well, in reality, at least based on, I want to say, 3 out of the 5 people that I worked with over past, uh, most recently, let's put it that way. You know what? First came the courage to pack up and move. The moment they hit the ground in a new location, everything fell into place that they have been working so hard towards. Because you know why? In the spaces that we have outgrown, what we're trying to do is equal to trying to light up a match underneath the water. It ain't going to work. Sometimes you can have the perfect formula, but you're trying to ignite it in the wrong environment. It's not going to work. You change the environment, you change the energetics. Every location has its own energetic grid, by the way. Find the one that is in alignment. I can share with you, if you want to reach out, amazing resources of how to find that, and who can help you find those locations, even though I'm pretty sure in your bones you already know what those locations are. And yes, I'm speaking that not just from observing my clients who have literally changed their own lives and the whole trajectory of their families' lives, um, but I have been there myself as well. The moment we hit the ground here on a whole other continent from where we were, things just started to fall into place. And yes, of course, the honeymoon phase passes and reality hits again, and it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm back in the grind. No, actually, no, we're not back in the grind, because we are creating on a whole different energetic grid with a whole different set of experiences and with a whole different support system around us, a whole different environment that supports us, in a whole different outlook, a whole different culture, a whole different community with a whole different set of possibilities. It is not the same, and we are not the same. But again, it took courage, it took guts, it took clarity, and it took capacity to make that leap. So if you're thinking about, okay, great, I'm here experiencing this duality, this is my vision, this is what I feel called to do, and who am I to even think that I can make the difference? And why am I so selfish that I am only thinking about my personal needs right now and my family's needs, while the world actually needs me in such a larger capacity? Take a breath, slow down. And I would like to offer that, all this pressure that you're feeling and all the possibilities that you might not be seeing and all the strategies that you're sitting on, what if it has nothing to do with any of that? What if it's something a lot more simple as taking a step back and allowing yourself to acknowledge that maybe it's simply the performative success that you have outgrown, and you crave something more substantial and sustainable. And only you will know what that is and what it feels like and what it gets to look like. Also, what if, knowing that you are indeed highly capable, just look at what you have already created in life, what you have already called in and have been holding and maneuvering. What if it's simply your inner environment that needs safety? How can you create that safety for yourself? that has nothing to do with the external world, how can you create that within you, even if it's just for that moment that you need for every next step, and then you truly let it rip, as one of my mentors had put it. And this was the most profound question that I have been asked. And it really, I felt it in my core. And I'm going to quote this. You are afraid of being seen in the middle of the movie, but this is the chapter that your future clients will most deeply relate to and respect you for. Let me say this again. You are afraid of being seen in the middle of the movie, but this is the chapter that your future clients will most deeply relate to and respect you for. There's nothing for me to add to this one, because each and every one of us will take it and interpret it exactly how we need to. It will meet us exactly where we are. But I want to offer you something else. If your mind is like mine, then it's already 3 steps ahead and it's already strategizing. Okay, great. We got this. I hear you. I feel this. Now what? What can I do? Right? The strategic piece. What can I do? The actionable steps. And here's what I would also offer. As somebody who thrives on strategy is literally my middle name. It's something I can do at 3 o'clock in the morning with my eyes closed, left-handed. um, Strategies can be super simple or they can be extremely complex. And they both have time and space to exist. However, what I would offer when you feel this duality being almost like numbingly paralyzing, I want to say to you, keep it as simple as you can. First and foremost, when you have this weight of responsibility, let's say it's simply a financial responsibility, because the world we live in, we do have bills to pay. You can't go to the store and say, hey, I'm a super awesome mom and clients love me, can I use it as a currency? No, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately. So what do we need to do? We need to get the clients that are in alignment, and we need to get over that fear of calling them into the bigger, more expensive container, the one that feels incredible, that we know it's being created by our soul. We have been ourselves just afraid to step in and claim it. And then simply reframe that when you are reaching out to people, for example, you're not begging anybody. You're not pleading with anybody. You're not convincing with anybody. That's not the energy which resonates with you and within which you operate. And the fact that you are looking to elevate your service and you're looking to pull up the people who you're really meant to serve in this lucrative container, it's not selfish. It's simply the currency of integrity and power that you offer. The currency of integrity and power that you offer. What about that for a reframe? So, to go back to this need to create actionable step, what would be the most simplifying step or action plan, even if it's just for the next 30 days? What would that look like for you? What are the things that you can release or put on a back burner for now? Put them on an etheric post-its, or just finally let go. And simply focus on the simplicity and alignment. And what is the one thing that you can commit to? Um, and one thing that you can put into the world that is in alignment, that feels expansive, that feels supportive, that feels exciting, that you know you are yearning to claim and to offer. One thing, one thing at a time. And then, how can you gently re engage those around you? And speaking of re engagement, how can you gently re engage yourself? Think about what is that you need to give to yourself first to create that sacred space within yourself, that solid foundation from which you can move in alignment and with power. Is it a new ritual? Is it a new routine? Is it physical movement? Is it spiritual practice? Is it creative outlet? Is it, you know, fill in the blanks? What is that you need? Then also, I would encourage you to look around, look through your network. If you're somebody like me who has been around for over a decade, I promise you, your network is vast. And I promise you, even if it doesn't feel like that there are people watching you based on the vain metrics of ever changing algorithm, I promise you, people follow you, people read what you put out there, people feel you. I hear it every day, I swear, every single day from somebody. Oh, I follow you, I read you, I have seen this, I have seen that. Even a cashier at a store is like, oh my gosh, I think I just read about you in a newspaper. And I'm like thinking to myself, it's been a while since anything about me was in a newspaper, but somehow an old newspaper crossed their desk and they saw an old article recently. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm reminded there's no timeline. Things are unfolding on its own timeline in a way that it's out of my control. Same with the social media. You know how often I meet somebody and they said, oh my gosh, I just read this article. And I'm like, I didn't even know that you're on this platform. I'm like, yeah. So again, just because somebody's not engaging doesn't mean that they are not tuned into your world. Or some of my favorites are the clients who come over and say, I've been following you and now I'm ready to work with you. And I'm like, you've been following me? Really? Not once they had engaged, not once had they liked, or not once they had commented or shared anything. I couldn't tell you that they were in my network, but they were. And when the time was right for them, when they were ready, they raised their hand and they took a step forward. So all of that to say that this duality that we're navigating is a human experience. It is normal. You're not alone. You're not crazy. It is a real thing. Most of us are experiencing it on a daily. So, as I said when I started this transmission, I do hope that my words that and the insights that I felt called to offer feel nourishing and inspiring and empowering, and that they allowed you to give yourself permission for whatever it is that you're meant to do here, and give you permission to hold both big vision and an immediate responsibility and commitments that you have, to give you some insights and strategic steps to create that clarity within yourself that you need. And then finally, what I would also offer, when things are easy as play and they feel less like an obligatory job of ticking off the boxes, you will be much more open and engaged. So, what if you were to look back through things that you have? Maybe they're on your calendar, maybe they are names of your offers, and just have some fun and rename things. Um, Something that even when you look at your calendar, it doesn't feel draining, but it feels uplifting. Instead of a staff meeting, what other name could it be? Instead of a VIP intensive, what other name could there be? Instead of, I don't know, dinner and homework time with the kids, what else could that be? Instead of, I don't know, let's say you have everything in 50 Shades of Grey in your calendar, could you bring some more colors in there? You know, simple stuff like that. And, I just feel inspired to offer that as well as I'm looking at my pants that are covered in dog fur. Um, and you can see all this dog fur because my pants are black and the dogs that we have are white. Um, but black color, it's something that I love. And there was a period of time when even my own kids said, "Mommy, please do not buy one more black thing. We need you in color." And yeah, I obliged. I purchased a couple of things in some amazing colors that I know that work for me. And then the other day, my little one came and she said, "You know what? Black looks really good on you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Why do you think half of my wardrobe is black?" Um, all of this to say, put on. I know this sounds like so superficial in a way, but when you wear what feels good and what makes you feel all the amazing feelings, for the lack of a better word, you will show up differently too. Um, yes, there's something to be said about comfort, and there's something to be said about luxury, and absolutely you can have both. But what I'm offering here is dive into what feels luxurious to you. Don't hold back because right now you need every ounce of that energy and all the energetic leaks you you get to plug them right now, and that looks very differently for very different people. One of the energetic leaks that I'm finally working on is reclamation of my health, and I have attempted that quite a few times, and it's been like a yo-yo effect. And every single time was like, okay, I'm a different person now. I'm gonna approach it differently, and it worked. And then it didn't. Um, this time I'm approaching it a little bit differently. I'm taking it slower than I had before, and instead of approaching it from "I'm not good enough, I have to fix myself," I'm finally seeing it from "I am good and I love myself more, and I get to do this and I get to feel in a certain way." So completely detached from whatever the scale and measures of my body proportions are saying. I'm like, this is the feeling that I'm after. And there are days when I feel really good even as is, and there are days when I'm like, oh, who is this person? What happened to her? Um, like I said, we all have those days. We're human beings. Um, but what I am offering here is that this is simply an energetic plug that I identified and I'm plugging because I know when I feel good and I am in movement, when my body is not hurting, I can create on a whole different level. I show up very differently for myself. I show up very differently for my kids, for my husband, for my inner circle, for my community. The confidence that I radiate is just very different. And even stepping in a space, I am felt very differently. Um, so, yeah, to bring this to a close. You already know what you need. You already know what you crave. You already know what you're after. So perhaps this is simply a permission slip that you needed to actually take that aligned action. And that aligned action is equal parts of releasing and letting go what no longer belongs, as it is claiming what is that you are creating and holding it. So, this is from me for today, and I'm sending you love. Take care.